My name is Rhiann Sheffy. I'm 18 years old, and I've been a part of the Girls Make Beats organization for 2 years. Ever since I was born, I have loved music, which I feel like is common for most people. I feel like I've always just sort of been drawn to singing, and my brothers actually, one of them would practice DJing when he was little. Like my mom got him a little DJ board, and he would be sitting there doing it. And then my other brother, he has a very good spirit, but he's not necessarily the best singer, but he found a lot of connections towards people who were good at music or were good at singing. So he kind of was already doing that managing aspect of music, because they were trying to get my second oldest brother to start getting paid for DJing, which I thought was really cool. But I feel like being the youngest sibling, you're always I want to do what my brothers are doing, or I want to do what my siblings are doing. So I feel like I started out doing music because I saw my brothers doing it, and it was also something that I really enjoyed doing, and I was like, this makes me happy when I sing this song, or I like doing this, or I like singing, or I like this song, I like listening to this in the morning. So it's I really enjoyed doing that. But as I started to get older, I kind of was I want to make my own of this. And I was really interested in poetry in middle school, so I would write poems and write how I was feeling. And then I was like, if I added music to this, this would sound really good. But I had tried piano lessons when I was younger, and I quit because it was just too much. I can't read sheet music, so it was a lot of stress for me, and I was really frustrated a lot of times. So I was like, how do I make this music? And then I started teaching myself how to play the piano again, and then I also taught myself the ukulele and a little bit of guitar. And as I started to learn those things, because it was more of just a hobby or a pastime, I'm doing this because it's fun, and I like to learn this or figure this out. But as I started to get more and more into it, I was I really love doing this, and I find myself really happy when I'm doing this, and I'm not stressed when I'm doing this. So I started making my own music and making my own songs, and I feel ever since then it sort of became this piece of my life that I don't imagine myself without, and I feel for the longest time it's been a part of me, and I'm really glad that it is, because it really allows me to have balance in my life, because there are times when I'm really stressed or I'm really stressed out, and I sort of turn to music in those times of being stressed or being frustrated by life or school or things like that. And so I just really enjoy it, and I've enjoyed it for a long time, and yeah. So at first, when it came to Girls Make Beats, I had no idea about the organization, and my mom actually got a text from one of her friends that was hey, I think Rhiann should sign up for this. I feel Rhiann would really enjoy this. It was around the time of COVID, and COVID school had just started, and I was I don't want to sit in another online class. And then my mom was you know what? I'm gonna just sign you up. Let's just see what happens. Because I also sort of got into the whole thing of oh, what if I don't get into it? Or what if I don't get accepted? And what does that say about me? And I kind of tied my worth into it. And so I was kind of I don't want to do it, because if I do it, then it's stressful. But moms always know best. So she signed me up anyway. And I feel that was the best decision that she ever made. Just to do it and just be you know what, I'm gonna do this just in case, and let's see what happens, because it really opened a lot of doors for me. And I had my first interview with Tiffany. I was immediately drawn to it, because the first thing I was she was what do you like about music? And I was Well, I've loved music since I was little, but my brothers, like, they would always do music, and music was kind of their thing. So I always thought, like, oh, I can't do it because, like, this is their thing. And I realized, like, as I started wanting to do it more and more, I needed to rely on them in order to, like, make the beats or, like, send me stuff. And I told her straight up, I was like, I don't want to have to rely on them anymore. Like, I want to do this myself. And then she was like, okay, like, we got you. And I feel like that was such an incredible interview. And after that, I realized that it was a lot more than just, like, making beats. Because at first I was like, I'm not good at making beats. I can't make beats. So why would I sign up for this? You know, like, but after I had that interview with her, I was like, this is a lot more than just, like, making beats or making music. Like, this is also helping me grow as a person. And I feel like she really respected my journey and sort of helped me, like, along with it. And everybody, like, here has sort of just, like, respected all of our journeys as artists, but also as, like, Black women in a way, and sort of, like, helping us to have the confidence that, like, we can enter this field, and just sort of telling us, like, you can do this. Like, there is space for you. Like, make the space for yourself. Like, find your corner and start there, and then sort of expand. And I feel like that has been, like, so impactful, and I'm very glad that I'm here. Being a part of the Girls Make Beats program has really been an eye-opening experience for me, because I feel like I've always really enjoyed music, but I never really had the inspiration or sort of, like, ideas of what to do when it comes to making music. And I feel like this sort of made my dream of, like, doing music as a profession more of, like, a reality, or it started to feel a little bit closer, because it's like, here are people that, like, I know and I trust and, like, I've known for a while, and they're doing this. And, like, to me that was just a really big deal, because it's like, at first I didn't really know, like, I knew, like, oh, I like music, I like making music, but I didn't know, like, there's people that I know doing this, and there's people that I can look up to. And I feel like being a part of this program has really helped me to see, like, these really amazing, like, women and girls who are very capable of doing editing and, like, producing and singing and all that stuff. It's made me sort of realize that there's more to me than just what I thought at first. Because at first I was like, I just want to be a singer. Like, I just want to sing. Like, I like singing. But I feel like this has really helped me be like, I can be a producer, or I can be, like, an engineer, or I can do this and I can do that. And I feel like without them, I wouldn't have sort of made that realization about myself. So, yeah. My experience with the Girls Make Beats training was really fun, and it was really impactful, because I feel like it really opened that idea of, like, doors and windows, and sort of having people who looked like me, who work in this field or, like, work in this sort of, like, aspect, was really, like, inspirational. And also having girls that, like, were going through it with me at the same time also really helped, because it made me feel like I wasn't struggling alone. And I just had a really good time getting to learn, and also, like, reflecting back, I just really enjoyed being with those people and making those connections, and also making music. I feel like the most interesting piece about this week as a whole was just the idea of learning how to sort of engineer, like, vocals and edit, like, my music and, like, my vocals, because I feel like I sort of have this vision when I'm making music of, like, what I want it to sound like. And I often find myself very stressed, because I'm like, it doesn't sound the way I want it to, it doesn't sound the way I want it to. And I feel like this week I really got to experience, like, what it's supposed to sound like. And it really helped me to sort of go back and be like, okay, this doesn't sound that bad, like, I just need to do this, or I just need to do that. So it helped me a lot, because it allowed me to sort of form, like, my own toolbox. And, like, with the idea of the roles that people in our lives play, and especially the people in this organization. I feel like once again it really opened that idea of like, I can do this, rather than like, this feels hard, so I'm gonna stop. It's like, I see making music and editing and engineering, I see it more as like an obstacle that I can get over rather than a complete roadblock. And I feel like without Girls Make Beats, I don't think I would have been able to see it that way. And just like this week alone has really proved that idea that this is possible and I can do it, and I just have to keep going forward and learn new tasks and learn new things in order to form that toolbox in order to be successful. So I always said that in the future I wanted two things. The first one was on Spotify, like there's the little credits section, and it says like who wrote who made the music, who wrote the song, and who sings it. And from the beginning, I was like, I want all three to say my name. Like, I want the writing to say Rhiann Sheffy. Like, I want the producing to have my name on it, and I want the singing. Like, I want all of it to say my name. And I think that that's one of my future goals and aspirations, is to be able to have a product or have a song that like has all three of those, that like I've made myself and really like created from me, instead of like having to rely on somebody else or have someone else send me music. Like, I want it to be my own. And then the second one is that I want a Grammy, which I know is like kind of a big goal, but I feel like being a part of these classes and doing these sort of workshops and things like that have sort of made that dream more manageable, rather than just like a big like, oh, I want to do this, you know. But I feel like this really, Girls Make Beats really allows me to put my foot in the door of getting there. And so I really want to sing in the future, but I also want to make my own music, and I want to sing the music that I've created. And eventually, hopefully, I get out there, and that's like my biggest goal, is like winning a Grammy. And I just like, I don't know, like, yeah, so I just want to do that, those things.